Hi everyone from the Engines channel. Today we're repairing a Gazon gearbox. We'll focus only on the shafts, not a full repair. So they brought me the main shaft and the secondary intermediate shaft. My task is to disassemble them, check where possible, and replace the bearings. There are some strange noises somewhere, maybe some play or looseness, but I haven't checked yet. I don't know for sure. My task is to take it apart, put in a key, maybe find some critical fault key, or maybe just replace the bearings. So I have this kit and they told me to repair whatever is included in this repair kit. So whatever is in this kit, that's what we'll be replacing. I've rebuilt these gearboxes several times, but never recorded it. Either the camera didn't work, I was filming something else, time, or something else got in the way. So I decided to at least record the repair of the shafts. Maybe later there will be a video about repairing this gearbox, the gearbox from a Gazon next garbage truck. So first I wash the shafts so they're not covered in oil and not so greasy, and then I start disassembling them. So on the input shaft maybe I'll replace the bearing. On the output shaft I'll completely disassemble it. As for the intermediate shaft I probably won't do anything, just give it a quick visual check, that's all. So that's the scope of work. Let's get started. So there are some issues with this gear. As you can see, there are scoring marks on both sides. Alright, I'll need to pay attention to that. Here's why I did it this way and took it apart. There are two gears side by side here, and you can't use a puller on these teeth. So I disassembled this section of the shaft. Now I'm turning the shaft back over and removing the second gear. So I disassembled the secondary shaft and I didn't find anything unusual here. I mean, nothing that could have caused the knocking or strange noises in the gearbox and so on. The only thing I saw was this kind of wear on the speedometer drive, on this side and on this side. It feels like the flange just wasn't tightened and was slipping. This bushing itself was slipping and maybe the bearing was slipping too, so it might be related to that somehow. I also noticed a small defect on the reverse gear. There are scoring marks on this side and on that side, but that can't be the cause of any strange noise. It's just that, well, maybe some metal shavings will appear and so, well, maybe the cause of the strange noises in the power take of gearbox. So, well, at least here I didn't find anything. Now I'll take apart the input shaft bearing as well. Let's see what condition it's in. Well, when you turn it like this, everything is smooth. There are no strange noises, nothing. So I'll replace everything that's in the repair kit now. I did exactly as the customer asked. That is, I'll replace all these bearings. Maybe that one is there too. Anyway, I'll check all the bearings that are there and replace them. As for shifting gears, so I'm visually inspecting all these splines. They're all in good condition. Some are a bit worse, some are a bit better. But I think the synchronizer ring cones are in good condition here. We won't do anything with this. We'll install the kit. And I'll assemble everything in reverse order, replacing the bearings. So I installed these bushings while they're hot. That is, I've heated them to about 200 degrees. I removed them with a puller and this is how they are installed. It cooled slightly and immediately seized. Now only a puller can remove it. Continuing on, I assembled the secondary shaft. Here, I installed the washer, the bearing, and wrapped it with electrical tape so it wouldn't fall apart, so the retainers wouldn't fall out and so on. So, according to the updated information, there was vibration. Not extraneous noises, but vibration. So, if it's vibration, it all makes sense. It turns out this nut here wasn't tightened. The flange was moving due to the drive shaft and vibration. You can see the speedometer bushing where as I showed. So, there was play everywhere here, and that's why there was vibration, I think. And maybe the nut was tightened all the way, but it doesn't press the flange. Maybe a washer needs to be put here. Anyway, I'll explain everything to the customer and show him. In fact, you didn't need to take apart the shaft or do anything here. You could have left the gearbox in place without disassembling it. Potrzebny, you just need to eliminate display right here. Ikizmin Ivo Merkuton Pirvin potrzebny. Wo Merkuton Pirvin no potrzebny. Zmienić pocin Ikizmin Ivo Merkuton Pirvin will potrzebny place bearings. Oh, mình Merkuton Pirvin. It's me video open. Ivo Merkuton Pirvin will potrzebny he can add. So we still have the oil seals left here. This is the reverse gear bearing. Here we still have the front and rear oil seals left, and there are two bearings that go on the intermediate shaft. So I'll check with the customer. If needed, I'll remove these bearings now and put on new ones, but then they'll have to adjust the axial movement of the shaft. I don't know if they'll be able to do that or not. I'll probably take everything apart now and check this bearing. Honestly, I don't see the point in taking it apart. Everything here turns so smoothly, but I'll still take out the ring and check the bearing. Maybe I'll replace the oil seal. I replaced the oil seal. Though the old one was still soft and could have stayed, my work is done. The bearing didn't need changing since it spins perfectly. That's how the repair went. And what's the moral? Before you start a major repair, you should fix any small possible issues first. For example, to tighten this nut, just remove the drive shaft and tighten it. It's only about half an hour of work, an hour tops. But what happened is people removed the gearbox. I took it apart and brought me the shafts. These shafts sat here for a day and a half. Only today did I get around to them. So I fixed them today, yes, during the day. Then they take them, assemble, and install the gearbox. How much more time is that? They've lost at least a week, when it could have been done in an hour. And by the way, I'll say this happens quite often in my experience. For example, most often it happens with gearboxes. For example, there could be issues with the gear selector lever or something else. Immediately they try to remove the gearbox if the gear won't engage, or similar problems occur. They then disassemble the gearbox. Everything is in excellent condition. There are no problems. This happens quite often. There are also similar cases with the fuel pump. For example, the power is gone and so on. They immediately start taking things apart, try to adjust the ignition and begin to remove the fuel pump. But all you needed to do was check that when you press the gas pedal, the rack moves all the way. The lever that moves the rack was hitting the stopper. So it turns out the driver pressed the gas pedal all the way, but the rack on the pump only moved 2/3 of the way. That's why the car doesn't go, because we're not getting full throttle. Cases like this happen quite often with fuel pumps, gearboxes and so on. Well, that's it. This was the video about repairing the gearbox. Well, not the gearbox, but the shafts from a Gazon next vehicle. Thanks everyone for watching. Good luck to all and goodbye.